Hey, it's Tobin at Virtual Storefronts, and this is Tech Market Insights with Tobin. I am the CEO and founder of Virtual Storefronts. This is our live feed right here, and I'm going to be your tour guide because with technology, the whole technology marketplace, because I have spent years working in enterprise tech with enterprise technology tools, and it's time to share my knowledge about my take on how technology is configured, and whether it's a tool that really works for you, whether it's an epic fail that you should avoid, all of those tips that guide my day-to-day practices as a founder and CEO of this company, Virtual Storefronts by Uspace, that I am the founder of. It's a land. There's a lot of stuff that should be avoided, and there's some stuff that's just you really need to get involved with if you want to be successful working with technology in 2023. So without further ado, today is the second episode of the Alignable series. I've again been on Alignable over the past 3 weeks, more than the previous 10 years combined, because my backstory is I've been working on this pilot for 2 years, working one-on-one in person with business owners, and then in the technology sphere, working with developers to develop the perfect technology to make it possible for those merchants to do online local marketing without any work. We take care of all of that work for them. So my life has been essentially almost offline in terms of networking and connections until this fall, when virtualstorefronts.co became, we redid it, and we had brought our technology now to a point where we're getting incredibly good results with search. We've got 98,000 times our storefronts have showed up for our pilot in the past 3 months. That's 125 web pages technically for all different kinds of searches. So now we are bringing our offer nationwide. And the way in which we're doing that is to partner with people that share our customers. So our customers are local Main Street merchants that have storefronts, business services, and others that are working directly with the local population. Now, Alignable is a really good place to find people who are working with our customers, because a lot of people on Alignable are working directly with our customers, people that are in media, magazine publishing, people who work with software for small businesses I've connected with. There's a tremendous number of people who are working with our customers. So it's been a great place to get out of the local market. I've been very much focused here in our pilot here in Western North Carolina, and expand our network with people in the more general business community nationwide. And that said, what I want to address today is, and this is that's all the backstory, but like the meat and potatoes of this entire conversation is my hot take on how to manage all of the connections that you get on Alignable, because I have had conversations with people on and off Alignable who have used it, who are just kind of befuddled, and it can be very it's labor intensive, because you want your business relationships. It's a business relationship that you're developing. The idea being, for me, that I want to take that relationship to the next level and take it offline, have a meeting with them, a virtual meeting, but take it off of Alignable and then begin a relationship. And there's a lot of people, especially in the Smart Connect segment, which is this whole thing that Alignable provides for free for people that are in the small business group. The small business group is, like 200,000 people. Alignable is kind of organized by groups. So in any case, they offer these speed dating things where you are in a room with 40 people, but then there's just one-on-one for 8 minutes, and then a different person for 8 minutes, and a different person for 8 minutes. And there's like 7 or so of those in an hour. And then you decide whether you want to continue the conversation after introducing yourselves to see if you are aligned to be of interest with each other. So it's a complicated process, it's a good idea to meet other people, but it's a little bit complicated, because if you are really serious about initiating a business relationship, with another person on Alignable, then you kind of have to take each introduction with equal weight. Although there are people on Alignable who are less serious about what they're doing or that are not aligned with what you're doing. And it's a little bit frustrating because it's hard to know in terms of vetting, whether those people are worth your time or how to take it to the next level, or if it's worth taking it to the next level. So I'm going to share with you my insights about how I manage the Alignable relationships, because it's really quite sprawling. I mean, meeting 8 people and then doing follow-up and all of that. I need 2 executive assistants just to manage as much of that. I had to stop doing these connecting events because it's become a bit overwhelming to actually do it and do it well. So the way in which I approach all of the Alignable online, whatever, like working on Alignable, is I'm looking to build relationships with people who share our customer. And that's why Alignable has been so useful to me in the past few weeks, really, as we introduce our technology nationwide. It's been very useful because here I am networking with people who are nationwide, who have customers all over the nation, local customers who are our customers. So that's great. But you got to kind of, sift the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. Make sure that you're spending your time and investing your time on people who are actually going to deliver. And I think that the best hack, so to speak, or the best shortcut for figuring out how that works is only send you have a limited number of connection requests. On a basic account, I believe it's 10. On a premium account, which is what we have, it's about 40. But only send connection requests to people that really are aligned, that you can share referrals with. And when I send a connection request, this is totally the key point of this entire tutorial about Alignable and how to vet people, is that I only send connection requests to people that I'm actually planning to have a follow-up meeting with, and or that I feel that I want to make the relationship deeper, that I can invest my very limited time with them in order to expand our footprint and expand our business, and then learn also about what they do so that I can refer their business to our client base, because there are a lot of useful there's credit building for small businesses. I've met people who do that, like Sean, and I've met people who work for Thrive, which is small business software that is something that a lot of businesses probably should be using that are not using, kind of internal software. There's a lot of services that I think are recommendable on Alignable, and marketing services, all kinds of services. So there's a reason to be on there for my customers as well. And I think that the decision is, if I'm sending out a connection request, I've already made the decision that I am willing to set up a meeting. And I think that's kind of the smoke and mirrors part of Alignable, because Alignable's got so many features, right? It's like feature rich, and it's not particularly well organized like many social networks. Facebook, all of them. Facebook's slightly better now, but it's still kind of just crazy. You don't even know where you are. It's hard to know as a user where you are in the network. And that's very true of Alignable. Am I inside of a group? Am I in another group? Am I posting to all groups? Am I posting just to the people I'm connected with? It's hard to tell. So it's a little bit of a hall of mirrors, a little confusing. And plus, you really just want to focus on relationships that are fruitful, and not relationships where there are people on Alignable who are simply collecting connections. And they say they're not a social network, but there's definitely people on Alignment who are there just to socialize, or that are retired, maybe they're advisors. This is not meant as a diss. It's just meant as a kind of like a heads up. They're not in the business game directly right now, and they're not engaged. They're not engaged on a level that you necessarily need them to be. So you got to kind of sift it all out. If they send you a connection request, I would be judicious about setting up a meeting with them and try to figure out in advance if, I sometimes will say, are we aligned? To take a look at virtualstorefronts.co. If this is something that your customers can use, then I would love to have a conversation with you. If, and just figure out what it is that you offer and what is it that you offer that my customers can use. And that's kind of how I process that relationship. And 9 times out of 10, when I send that message, I get no response. So it's a great way to vet that relationship for incoming connections. So that's a hot tip right there, I think, in terms of sorting what is and what is not valuable. So just let them get a good idea. Also, they can simply go to your profile. You think, go to my profile, look at my profile, which if you didn't see the previous video about Alignable and how to set up your profile, that's very useful. That was the last one I did about Alignable for TMI. And I think that if you have them just, it all stays on Alignable, then it doesn't bleed over into your administrative life. There's no email to manage. A lot of what's happening on Alignable can really just stay on Alignable. Honestly, probably, I don't really know for sure because I'm really only 3 weeks into it, but I'm guessing, it's just going to be like a handful of relationships that are fruitful over time. But those relationships, it's business. Those relationships might be opening points to much larger networks and much larger relationships. So you don't want to shut them down automatically, but you do want to vet them for people that are really going to deliver and people that have those aligned customers. So that's my take on Alignable. If you have questions or comments that you want to share, or your take on Alignable is completely different, just drop it into comments. Of course, click the like button because you liked watching this. You can follow TMI, turn on notifications for TMI on YouTube, which is our primary channel. And we blast out to every other channel. We use Buffer to post to all the socials, which is probably the best cost packed for your punch. Social manager is Buffer. So we're everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, whatever, LinkedIn, Alignable, you name it. So come and connect with us. Write in the comments. Coming up in the next few weeks, we're going to have a podcast, me as a podcast guest on 2 podcasts. One is with Marketing Counts out of Seattle, and the other is with Independent Minds out of Yorkshire in England, which is going to be, both are totally interesting and completely different podcasts. Tune in for that. Turn on notifications on YouTube and you will get all that information. Stay tuned for the next TMI. Thanks for joining me. My name is Tobin. I am your host. I'm the person who's been just swimming through the ocean of technology that's for businesses and personal technology for the past 25 years to help you navigate and guide you through these deep, deep waters of technology that is maybe useful, maybe not, but wouldn't it be great to know before you get into it, how to use it and how to make the most out of it? That's what TMI is about, Tech Market Insights. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next episode.